Must be nice to be a business owner. Welcome to the podcast where we interview business owners and get actionable tips and exclusive insights. Check out our newsletter coming out every other Monday at mustbenice.news. Talking about some of the recent wins that you've had as a business and in your team.
Yeah, I would say the most recent win was just the main win we got this year was getting on 102.7 KISS FM. That generated just a great lead source for us, allowing people to just know the brand. And from that, we probably got around 10 total events. Not all of them scheduled, but it's just the idea of them getting to us so we can make that conversation starter. We have had a pretty successful rate though when people go through the website. I would say about 70% of the people that go through actually schedule us for an event. But when we got onto 102.7, it was crazy experience because we had one of our our coworkers his girlfriend applied for it to us to be on 102.7. So we found out the night before that they actually wanted to talk to us. So me and Austin were in the living room at probably 6 a.m. in our underwear, just like, what's going on? Like, they want us to call them.
Yeah.
And we got a call, and they basically told us, like, hey, like, here's what it is. Like, you're going to be transferred over to Ryan and his team to talk. And we're like, oh, okay, we're just going to be the interview so we can get on air. And no, like, right when we got on, we got on air, and that was just crazy because when you hear Ryan Seacrest's voice, I say this to everyone, like, it sounded like AI generated. Like, I can't believe that it was his voice on the other end of the line. Because, he has an iconic voice. So that was the Kickstarter, and so that was our biggest win probably thus far.
Thank you, Sharework, for sponsoring Must Be Nice. They create incredible web designs and can also help you with lead nurturing for SMS and email marketing. They have phenomenal reviews and a lot of sample work on their website. Call them today.
Lembesis, and me and Austin here are the co-owners of Bar Boys Bartending. Grew up in the Bay Area, came down to Southern California for college, and now just trying to figure out, career path down here, starting a little side business that, is picking up momentum right now, so we're both really excited for.
Yeah, like Kosta said, my name's Austin. We met in college our freshman year, and our relationship has kind of developed to where we became business partners. After working in the bartending industry together, we realized we could probably do this better and provide a service for people because, people seem to enjoy, when we're bartending for them, and why not do it together and make this adventure and see where it goes.
So you guys were best friends from different locations. You met in college, right? Your business right now is a bartending catering service, right? Am I wrong? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, pretty much for the most part. It's a private bartending service, so not really much catered because the main differentiation between us and other private bartenders is we just provide ourselves and our equipment. So everything else is pretty much up to the person having the party to supply, and we just send them custom lists so they know what to get. But that's how we can make it a little more, price affordable, because we're not actually charging you or upcharging, lemons, limes, and simple, sides and whatnot.
Yeah. And, how old is this business? How long have you been doing this?
So we started, honestly, Bobby started like just from random ideas. We both had a few private bartending events that were just like fun, enjoyable. And then once I did one time, I came back, we were working on limericks together. And I was in the back bar talking about the event, and Austin was like, oh, like, what if we did our own private bartending event, blah, blah, blah. We were going back and forth. And then he said Bar Boys. And I was like, Bar Boys. I was like, that has a ring to it. And I literally pulled out a piece of paper
and just started sketching out different logos. Like, it was literally how you think of like when businesses are created and you're at the bar top, like sketching on a napkin. That's kind of how it started. So.
Yeah. Well, let's go back. So you guys were bartending together, and then you were like, hey, let's just bartend for other people?
Yeah. Yeah. So Kosta started working at a bar in Chino Hills, and they were looking for pretty much bar backs, which are like help out the bartenders, supply everything for them. And that's where I started. And as we developed, we were working like hectic club nights. So it was a lot of like on the go, fast pace, a super fun work environment, but very hectic. And, we thrived in that. And we realized, this is something that we could do on the side because, like those club nights, they are fun and they're hectic, but the real money is in like the private sector, doing weddings, doing birthday parties and whatnot. So that's kind of like where we gravitated towards wanting to move forward,
Yeah, and obviously, so you guys became bartenders. Was it around the same time? How did you guys even get into this in the first place?
So I started at Limericks back, I believe, in 2020. I actually started as the dishwasher there. So I was dishwashing there for
No
about
way. You
yeah.
were
So
at the very bottom, huh?
yeah, so I started off at the bottom. Pretty much started as a dishwasher. Finishing my last semester of college, and then once I graduated, I left to go to a different part-time job, just a job, not a career. And then I got called back by Limericks, and they're like, "Hey, we want to offer you a position as a bar back." So I worked out there for about 6 months bar backing, and then eventually became a bartender. After about maybe another 4 or 5 months of bartending, I actually became a manager at Limericks, and that was right around the time Austin came in, maybe a little bit before that, where he actually started bar backing when I was still bar backing. So like I was actually helping him train and kind of getting onto like just what we do at work, basic stuff, getting ice, filling up the juices and whatnot. But even when Austin first came on, he had the exact same kind of mindset as me, where it's like this is enjoyable and like it's sustainable, the money's good, but like bartending is what I want to do because it's just that that thrill of the moment, that conversation at the late night club night, or just the entertainment. Like it's a fun chaos to be a part of. How Austin was kind of explaining.
Oh wow! And had you guys worked before ever
Yeah,
together?
yeah, we were Painted Turtle
We worked
before.
at the Painted Turtle that summer.
So
Okay,
yeah,
and what's the painted turtle?
So basically, through the same fraternity that we were all in, it's our philanthropy that we supported. So Painted Turtle was basically a kids camp that was held during the summer for kids with all different types of disabilities. Each week they had a different type of disability, and so Kosta and I volunteered and worked for a whole summer there, as well with a few of our other brothers, and yeah, we had a blast that summer. Definitely a lot of hard work, and a lot of memories, but it definitely, I think it showed me like Costa and I were super compatible to work together as far as like business goes, because we were basically living together. Like we drove together. We were there a whole week together. Like we spent a lot of time together. So.
Yeah, nonstop.
Yeah. And so it sounds like too that you guys were doing this on the side, but it wasn't even about work. It was about having fun while you were doing it, primarily too.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's actually 100% facts. Like when we first started the event before Bar Boys was Bar Boys, it was just like let's have a good time, let's go out. Because as part of being a private bartender, like it's what you expect. Like people are, they want to drink with you, they want to give you food after the event, they want to like entertain you as well, and it's just such a fun environment to be a part of, especially with someone where it's like, we both have the same ambitions of like just having a good time. So in order to give that to someone else, like while we're doing it together, it just made it that much better. And like now that we're more than just us two at Bar Boys, we have other guys that we kind of have that same compatibility with, where it's like we have a good time going out, doing our thing, bartending, but also in the real world. About and something that I enjoyed in life. And if you asked me, 2, 3 years ago or 3, 4 years ago before I became a bartender, I would have never told you that I would have wanted to jump in this industry or be involved in a business in this industry. It all kind of just came naturally and organically, and it just, it's something I developed a passion for. So that's how college kind of went into the business aspects. Like I had that, learning the business and then finding something I enjoyed and then just trying to bring them together in one.
Yeah, I kind of have a similar path too. So I actually have the same degree and major as Costa. He has two minors though. I know. So I also started working in the bartending industry, and it kind of has a way of sucking you in, like that money, that instant gratification. Like you're seeing the tips that you're getting, and you kind of just like, I don't know, you get hooked into it, and it's really fun too. So Costa left a few months before I stopped working at the bar that we were both working at. And now I'm finally starting to try to get my career path and my foot in the door within that, long-term career. And especially since we have this side business too, I figure it's one of those outlets, like we could do this because I'm really passionate about it. I really enjoy it. I really love the aspect of like, servicing people and like making great drinks for them, and also hearing out like all these stories that people have and doing all these cool events and like meeting all these different unique types of people I would have never met, working anywhere else. So this is like a great outlet for not only having like that passion project and fun, but something that, we hope to be profitable and, bigger than any other bartending service that you've heard of. And yeah, that's like the main goal for me personally.
Yeah. And is there any, kind of, for lack of words, boring aspect of, owning this business that you learned from school? Did school help?
School definitely does help. It gives you some sort of format just to think about. So analytically speaking, like thinking about this project, I think that's where school comes into place, because it gives you a general idea of, what we want to do for a business plan, kind of how we want to grow. But the real aspects of, emailing people, calling people, shifting your business ideas while you realize, maybe that idea wasn't the best. When I first started pitching Bar Boys to Austin, of just like making it something, my idea was, high quality craft cocktails. I'm talking about like smoked old fashions, high quality ingredients, great bitters, things like that. As we realized just with 1-2 events, seeing kind of how our competition was, there wasn't a, easygoing, cheaper alternative. There was a lot more of that high quality, style of bartending, mixology. So we like to call ourselves bartenders. By no means am I a mixologist, definitely not on that level yet. But that's something that, we figured was our niche. We can make drinks, but we're not, we don't try to just bring our drinks to the presentation. It's us too. Like, we want to make sure that we're also elevating the events. When you come to the bar, you're like, those guys were pretty cool. Like, they gave me a laugh. They gave me some good banter back and forth.
Yeah.
You're doing these events. It's chaotic. It's fun. But you're also probably taking in something in your pocket at the end of the day. What's so great about being a private bartender versus just working at a bar?
I mean, tips are good both ways. I would definitely say, even at Lembesis, like, we made great money, so it's not like, this is that much better. This is better because it's a lot more personable. But like you said, the money is good. I mean, we can charge for, 2 custom cocktails on our menu and just open bar service of basic drinks, beer and wine service, $80 an hour. And, it sounds pretty pricey, but I promise you, if you put in a 4-hour request for any other bartending company, they're going to give you a quote like $1,600. So we've definitely seen, that's where we've been thriving is, we're not making the most payment, but the volume eventually of how our business is set up, the more bartenders we get, that's when the revenue will start coming in because of the increase of bartenders we have.
Wow.
So
and why this low price?
It's just staying competitive. I want to undercut the market. So one, I've said this to Austin a million times. Like, when you think of a car company, you think of BMW, Mercedes, it just pops in your head. When you think of just certain, brands, it's just they're the market leader. They're obvious when you say a specific product. When you say private bartending, you can't think of anything. You'd have to go on Yelp and search, the closest 30 bartenders for you. So the way we're set up and how we're set up is we're able to be in San Diego and Los Angeles and cover the whole territory with 5 guys. So that's been, so far successful. But obviously, future, it's going to have to increase. But yeah, with the lower prices, our goal is to increase the amount of bartenders, so our volume increases. So not only can our bartenders get paid, minimum, $40, $45 an hour and take home great tips, the company can also get paid, and the name of the brand can, be something they can look at and, have over them to protect them.
Wow. And so are all 5 of the people on the team, on staff, or is everyone a partner? And how did you find everyone?
If you want to break down like the business or like how they are, what they are as a business,
so
kind of talk about how we met them.
Yeah, so pretty much we got 5 bartenders in total, which would be me, Austin, and then Yamil, Travis, and Caleb, which those are our bartenders, 1 in Los Angeles, the other 2 are in San Diego. And then that's just our bartending team. So I actually work with a few other people on the side. So I work with someone named Damien. He's actually the creator of the logo for Bar Boys. And if you've ever seen our, updated versions for holidays, he works on those as well. We also have Matt. So big shout out to Matt. Matt runs or created our website and also does a lot of our content. So a lot of the things that are going onto the Bar Boys website were created by him.
Cal Poly alum too.
Yeah, Cal Poly alum too. So shout out for that. And then my sister has been helping out with our social media. So that's been another person, like basically in the company, like anything social media that you've been seeing consistency on that has all been my sister. So I don't have the social media skills to, do that, but she's been doing a phenomenal job. So it's been really fun working, all these different people.
And we've met them all through like our inner circles. So these are all people that we know kind of represent the same ideals and have like that same personality that we want to bring to a bartending event. Because like, even though we do want to grow this brand to as big as, we can, we don't want to lose that, like our core values of like, we want to bring not only just a bartender to your event, but like a homie, like a friend, someone who's like, you can have a conversation with and, have a drink with after we're off. Like, we don't want to have just like these robots or just like people there that aren't really passionate about other people. And so we met Travis, we worked with and went to college with. Caleb's another bartender that we worked with at the bar that we were at. Yamil is actually one of Travis's friends. So like, these are all just like other homies and other friends and other relationships that we built through time. And our whole philosophy is like, we want to make sure everyone eats too. So like, we want everyone who we're bringing on to feel like they're getting taken care of. And if they want to bring on someone too, like that next person, they're going to take care of them. And it's just vice versa. So like, it's all about growth. Like that's our main focus right now is just making sure we're helping not only like the individuals in our company, but other companies too. We're trying to work with like small breweries, microbreweries, like other small businesses and try to like spread our influence through them and vice versa.
We actually have 3 events booked on the same day. And to me, that's, phenomenal because it's a very back and forth thing when you're trying to talk to customers because a bartender isn't needed. So some events, they're like, yes, we want you. Other events, they're kind of teetering back and forth. So 2 of the 3 events that we had this week were those ones that were teetering a little bit. So the fact, that we were able to close those and, they got the deposits, like it's a very like rewarding feeling knowing that like they're putting their trust in our hands. Because that's also a part of, that interaction as our service, there's a large part of trust because we're serving alcohol.
Maybe even, a personality. Was there any growing pains that, someone trying to do a similar type business, at least a service-based business could benefit from?
I mean, the only thing that comes to my head when I initially think what was the biggest roadblock for us was just becoming legal. It's just, I honestly wouldn't think the paperwork is as complicated as it be, but unfortunately it is to, file your LLC, file for your business license for California, search up all the regulations to making sure you're legally allowed to do your business in the county you're in, let alone the state. So
insurance.
Yeah, insurances. So things that I would say like just getting legal, the step-by-step process for that was the biggest barrier for us to get into this. Because we were doing events beforehand, but like I said, it was super casual. There was no bar boys. It was just 2 guys who like bartending together and having a good time and is bartending for others. So getting legal was definitely the hardest part for us. We're an LLC filed in California. And like I said, people do it a bunch of different ways. Some people will tell you to file it in Nevada for their like privacy laws or, different aspects for different benefits. But that was probably the hardest part, the most amount of research. Because like I said, our business plan was pretty concrete from the beginning, let's make every event more fun and affordable. As simple as it is, it's been our, our Kickstarter for our business. But the legality aspects have definitely been a little like shaky for us, especially with upcoming tax season. We're saving our receipts. We don't even really know what for. So, we're trying to figure out how to do the legal sides of things because that's, that's new to both of us.
Wow.
So there's still growing pains.
Yes, there's still growing pains. We're still going through it.
Is this something that like other people can easily do? Is this something that you recommend, to all the bartenders out there? What would be your message, being the owner of a private bartending service?
Well, I'll say first, if you're a private bartender and you're looking for work, we're looking to hire. So that'll be the first thing I would say. No, I do think it's, like, me personally, I think it's something that everyone could get into. Doesn't mean you should get into. When we first started Bar Boys, I mean, before, like, when we just created the Instagram and only 5 people were following it, as soon as I made my first Bar Boys post, before we were legal or anything, I saw 5, 6 other people that we knew create bartending Instagrams. And, I saw their followings go up. Ours were still pretty low. And as soon as, we became official, we started posting content. We were posting updates on our events. All those Instagram accounts that I saw when we were created are all at the same level. So it's absolutely something you can do, but it's consistency over everything. Because it's a difficult thing to do because everyone else can do it. So you have to really make sure that you're stepping out of your comfort zone and trying to do something a little bit different.
Yeah, I think another thing too is you got to make sure you have a really good idea of what your company is going to represent. Like from that initial start of like Kosta pulling out a piece of paper, like drawing up logos, dude, it took us probably 5-6 months to finally come up with like something that we felt could represent our brand and like something that we could actually be proud of and like make merch out of that we would actually want to wear. Like it's a process, and you should really, really have a good idea of like who you are, what you're building, and how you want it to look. Because, just because you think it looks great, it might not resonate with a lot of people. So like, I think and we think like a lot of other people are going to like it too. Like we kind of stand out. If you look at our logo and like what Bar Boys is, just the name alone, compared to like other people on Yelp, other private bartenders, you're gonna notice us. I guarantee that. So it's just making sure that you have a really good plan and run it by a bunch of people too. Like, don't be afraid to get criticism and ask and get reassurance on either this is a good idea or a bad idea and just build.
Yeah, and I would definitely say with that, you need to have the right team with you because, like I said, we started with an idea that we didn't know where to go with. I mean, I don't know how to create a website. So when I started learning how to create a website, or for the convenience purposes, I find someone to get on my team that can create my website and update my website. Same thing with media, and same thing, just having other people in your company. Especially being a startup, you need people who believe, if they believe 50% as much as, we do, then I want them on my team. Because we know that what we want out of this. We know what the future of this could look like. So if we can get guys on the team that have that same, kind of grind out attitude, a little, I don't know, just that tenacity of just wanting more for themselves, then I believe like that's what you need on your team. You need people who can ground you, people who can, challenge you like me and Austin can do to each other, and people, can give you new ideas that you're sitting there being like, how did I not think of that? Because there aren't simple things you'll overlook because there's so many aspects moving and running a business all at once.
Yeah. And, speaking about running this business and moving all at once, I mean, you guys got day jobs too, right? I mean, what are your routines like? And, what does your day job think about this, right?
Yeah, so I work in finance. So I work in student loans specifically. And basically I help people either refinance their loans or go through public service loan forgiveness, which is just a government forgiveness program for anybody in, teachers, doctors, etc. So I do that 9 to 5. I'm really lucky I get to work from home remotely. So it doesn't, tax me in terms of my time, in terms of like going into work, coming home. So for me, it's actually been pretty easy of a balance because, 9 to 5 work. And then as soon as 5 o'clock hits, I'm already on my laptop. I can do a little bit here and there for Bar Boys. So it's not been, too much of a stretch, especially with, our events being on weekends. So that's how it's been for me. It's been pretty balanced for the most part. I do think with, obviously, more volume coming in, that may be, in the future a struggle. But for now, I've been maintaining pretty well with it.
Yeah, I only have one instance where I felt like, I was like, oh my God. So I had a wedding. I was working on a Saturday, and, it was an outdoor wedding. It's it's like 90 degrees out. I'm wearing all black. I'm doing this event for like 4 hours. And then at 7 o'clock, I have work at the bar, bartending all night until 2 a.m. So that was like a 12-hour, 13-hour day easily. But that's like some of the sacrifices that you have to make, you know, wanting to create a small business and do your own thing. Like you got to put in those hours that, you know, might not make sense, but you just have to put in the work. And that's just really how it is when you want to create something yourself, you know?
Yeah. Is it kind of like a 24/7 thing, or do you feel like you have time for other things, guys?
You can definitely set aside time. You can make, an hour block to work on specific things. But it is 24/7 because every single email that comes in, every single text message that comes in, you can't just sit there and stare at it and be like, oh, I'll get to it. Because if you don't get to it, someone else might get to it before you. So you have to be a little competitive and a little, stern on making sure you're responding to these emails, staying up to date with everything. So I would say it's a 24-hour job. Doesn't mean you're working 24/7, but you can be out at dinner and get a text message that you just need to respond to because it just needs to be responded to. So that can be, a little stressful in a sense. Or like, one of us are out for the weekend and, another one of us are doing this and we could both be doing something and then an event comes in. So it's like, there's a lot of coordination and communication that's involved in this. So that, it can be a little difficult in terms of that just because it's all the time.
Yeah. I mean, since we live together too, like, and we are working together and stuff, we're constantly throughout the day, like Kosta will hit me with like, oh, I was thinking about this. I was looking into this. Like, can you look up this? Like, it's, since we do live together and we have that dynamic to where we can like constantly talk to each other about it, like it can be that 24/7 type deal. But I think we do a good job too of like remaining, sane and like having our own personal lives too and doing our own thing, like making time for the gym, making time for, cooking food and like still being friends. We'll like have poker nights on Tuesdays with a bunch of our buddies. So like we're not just like constantly always, work grind 24/7. Like we're still hanging out as boys, as roommates and stuff, but definitely we start talking about Bar Boys and like it could be a 3-hour conversation. So
yeah, and I'm definitely guilty of hitting Austin with the hey, what do you think about all the time? Because there's some days where I literally will tell him in the morning, I'll be like, hey, I'm not saying anything today. Like we'll just do our things. And then like 5-6 o'clock comes around and I have the next like golden idea that I need to get off my chest. And I tell Austin and then it's just like, let's see what we can do from here. And that's going to become some of those long conversations. Yeah. So like I said, I'm definitely guilty of that. More so, like I said, that's why balance comes back into play because I have him just be like, hey, back to earth. Like not everything is, has to be going like a million miles per hour. So I'm super grateful for having Austin. Like as a roommate, as a business partner, as a friend, like it allows us just, like I said, the balance is unreal. And like, I feel like a lot of people say that, but I mean, I've known this dude for a long time. And like I said, it's always just been smooth, butter.
And, final question kind of is, any final words for other fellow, business owners or, people who want to have a side hustle and, want to be in the shoes that you are right now to be on air with Ryan Seacrest and Josh Hernandez?
Hey, Josh Hernandez.
Don't forget. Like I said a while back ago, like it's really just about consistency. Because we could fall off tomorrow, we could stop posting on our Instagram, we could stop keeping up with our content, and reaching out to people or other businesses, and then this will probably just flop. People won't reach out if they don't know about us. So it's really just if you want something to succeed, if you want to start your own business, just start by just being consistent with something and try to make sure it's something you enjoy. I've heard from a lot of people, like some things that you don't like to do that you're good at, you'll eventually enjoy. But, if it's a side passion, a side hustle, make it something you enjoy and like take it from a business perspective. Because, like I said, a lot of the private bartenders, everything looks fantastic. They're probably a better bartender than me, mixologist maybe, but they don't have the business outline and the structure that we have. We make things simple, easy. So, you have to kind of think of just in the consumer's mind, like if I'm really passionate about this, who would I hire? So, if you like selling clothes, sell clothes that you're going to wear. I wouldn't sell, I wouldn't make a drink that I want to make for myself. So I think that should be something, for anybody, if you're passionate about it, be consistent and enjoy it, and just, see what you can do with it. Just be consistent with it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, I feel like also it's like taking that step too. If you are good at something, you have a passion for it, just try it. Like, you can only learn from whatever venture you're trying to start with. Like, there's only so much learning potential, and you don't even know what other kind of doors it's going to open. That's why, like, at the end of the day, I say all this doesn't work out. Nothing goes to plan, and you don't hear from Bar Boys, and it's just like a faded memory. At least I still have, and Kosta has, this life experience that we've gained, and I know we both learned so much going through this process. Like, and we would have never known that we had this potential and all these things that we've learned unless we tried it. So you just gotta go out there and just give it a shot. If it's not gonna be the end of the world if it doesn't work out, and if it does, you're gonna look like a genius. So you might as well try, right?
Yeah, that's awesome, guys. Thank you so much for being on the Must Be Nice podcast.